Hey everybody, this is Mike with the One Stop Co-op Shop, and today I'm bringing you a playthrough and review of Turing Machine. This is a solo, cooperative, or competitive deduction game where you're trying to ask questions to determine a three-sequence set of numbers from 1 to 5. And disclaimer that I got a review copy of this one. And if you enjoy the content of the One Stop Co-op Shop, consider supporting us through Patreon. You get early access to our videos and exclusive videos every month you cannot see anywhere else. You can also check out our separate streaming channel for even more content, listen to our weekly podcast, or join the conversation on our Discord. So as I mentioned, the idea of Turing Machine is that you're trying to decode a 3-digit code, each digit being 1 through 5, represented by the triangle, square, and circle here. And you're going to have from 4 to 6 criteria cards. And kind of like a Sudoku, these are going to, in combination, create only a single code. And each of these criteria cards has a question it'll answer. Like, is the square number even or is it odd? How many 1 digits are in the code? Are there 0 ones, 1 1, 2 1, or 3 1? And how you ask those questions is you formulate a combination of the 3 numbers, and then you'll take the verification card for the matching criteria. I'm using an extra one here. And you line it up, and somehow they got this to work. All of these little holes will come together and tell you, no, for your number. So you are checking whether your number correctly matches the question. So let's say, for example, that there were 2 1s in the actual answer. Like, let's say it was 113, and I'm saying, does 111 match the criteria? And it says no. So I know that there are not 3 1s, having guessed this, but there could still be 2 1s or 1 1 or 0 1s. And a good way to remember it is that if you put the exact right code and ask it to all 4 of these, they will all return a yes answer at the same time. So that's when you know you've correctly solved it. But the point of the game is not to take forever. You're actually racing to go as quickly as possible. In the solo co-op mode, you use an app, which will randomly generate one. This one that I've done is an easy one with 4 criteria cards, so kind of like the simplest you're going to get. And after you've taken as many rounds as you need, in each round you can ask 3 criteria cards for yes/no answers. You'll put in your answer, and if you get it right, then you put in how many questions you had to ask, and you'll see if you beat the machine. Basically, did it faster than the app itself could do. Whereas in competitive, you're trying to guess the correct answer first before other players, and using, again, as few questions as possible. So that's kind of the basic idea. I'll try to explain things more as I go. Again, I'm playing an easier one first, and then I'll do a harder one after. And if you already know how to play the game and want to see if you can do better than me, I'm not necessarily great at the game, so that shouldn't be too difficult. Go ahead and feel free to pause, put in this code A4BQCI into the app, and you can try out and see how many questions it takes you, and then come back and see me probably struggle. So a key point to get in the deduction of the game is that there's only a single answer possible, and again, all of these have to return a correct answer. So often you can already eliminate things before you even start guessing anything. And I can definitely do that here. So as a quick example, the number of 1s in the code. If there were 3 1s in the code, I would not need any other cards because this would be the only one, and this by itself would already tell me the answer. So by that process of deduction, I know that it cannot possibly be all 3 1s because these are formulated such that every single card is necessary. I cannot nail down the exact code unless all 4 of these criteria are in play. So I can already eliminate 3 1s because, again, I would already know the entire code without any other cards if that was it. Just kind of do notes however you like, so I know that it's not 3 1s. Now, it could still be 0 1s, 1 1, or 2 1s, because that wouldn't totally lock things in. Now, how many even numbers are in the code? That I don't know yet. These will kind of clearly interact with each other because 1 is not even, so these are going to be kind of directly opposed. Which color's number is larger than either of the others? Now, the fact that this by itself is going to return a correct answer means that there is one number that's larger than everything else. So I can't have 3 of a kind in this case because something needs to be larger than all the rest. I couldn't have 4 4 4, for example. And then for some reason, it's going to matter whether the square is even or odd. I don't know why yet, but okay, with the one deduction, let's go ahead and try something. Better people at the game than me could probably come up with a better perfect set of numbers, but I'm just going to figure something out quickly. And you know what the hell, I'm going to start with 1 4 5, just to explain my reasoning a little bit. And again, I'm not great at the game, so you probably have better reasoning than I do. But I'm thinking that if the square is even or odd, it's really important that there's a lower chance that square is the largest number. I don't know if that's actually something that makes any logical sense. So I'm guessing that maybe circle is the largest number. I'm probably going to ask this one. I do want to find out if square is even or odd, because I get the feeling that that's going to be an extremely important thing. Although, maybe I don't need to if I find out how many even or odd there are overall. So I'll decide in a second which of those I'm going to ask. But I'm planning to find out if there's only one 1, because again, I know there's 0, 1, or 2. And I'm going to find out if circle is the largest. That seems like it would give me a lot of information. So I can ask up to 3 questions, and each one I'm going to have to mark. So I'm doing a C here. So which one is the largest? And again, I just line them up such that these oh, okay, that worked out well. So I was right. Circle is the largest here because I got in the only hole that goes through all 3 of the cards. I got a check mark. Put circle. I'm not good at drawing shapes that look different enough. And I do have to keep track of which questions I've asked. Oh, I didn't even put my numbers in. 1, 4, 5. All right, and now I do want to know if there's only one 1, so let's go ahead and try that. And there is only one 1. Okay, so I eliminated 2 possibilities there. Nice. There's 1. I don't know. That wasn't very helpful. All right, now I mean, I could stop here. I don't have to ask 3 questions, but I think I should. Which of the evens do I want to know? So, okay, there's 1, which means I know that there can't be 3 even numbers, obviously. There could still be 0, 1, or 2. Maybe this would be redundant to find out about. I mean, here's the thing. If I ask this and I find out that there's 1 even number, I won't know if it's the square or not the square. If I find out that the square is even or odd, because the nice thing is by asking this, I will 100% know which way it goes. Whereas this one kind of gives me, I'm not sure if this is right. Okay, I'm going to do the square one. Okay, so square is odd. I know that with 100% certainty because square is not even as mine currently is. So if it has 3 questions, 1 no, 2 yeses. I know that square is odd. I know there's only one 1, and I know that circle is the largest number. All right, so let's see what I can work out from this. All right, so square has to be odd. So it could be 1 or 3. It cannot be 5. It cannot be 4. It can't be 5 because I know circle is the sole largest number. It can't be 4 and 2. So, okay, I've got square narrowed down to 2 different digits. And then I know circle cannot be 2 or 1. Or I guess, do I know that? I mean, it definitely can't be 1 because it's the largest. Oh, and there's only 1, which means they couldn't both be 1. So at least one of them would have to be a 2 at least. So yeah, okay. We know that circle is 3, 4, 5, more likely a 4 or a 5. And then triangle, we know can't be a 5 because it's not the sole largest number. I guess we don't know much more than that. Now there's exactly 1, which means again, one of these. So the only thing we don't know, because we literally know the full answer for 3 of the 4 criteria, the only thing we don't know at all is how many even numbers there are, which means that the answer to this needs to be capable of giving us every other number that's left, which should, if I'm not dumb, be enough to tell us what the solution is. And maybe we'll need to ask this next term, but we should be able to get away with only a single question more. So let's see. The possibilities are 0 even numbers, 1 even number, 2 even numbers, 3 even numbers. Okay, there cannot be 3 even numbers because we know there's at least 1. Now we know square is odd, but the 1 could be odd. So it could be like 2, 1, 4, for example. That would still meet all the criteria. So there could be 2 even. Can there be 0 even? Yeah, I guess 3, 1, 5 would fit that. So yeah, finding out which of these is right should tell us a lot. But okay, let's let me try to break this down a little bit more. So if it was 0. If there were 0 even numbers, would we get a distinct code? 0 even numbers would mean that everything's odd, so it would have to be 1, 3, 5 or 3, 1, 5. So 0 even numbers would not give us a single code, which means this needs to be wrong. Pretty sure about that. If there was 1 even number, would there only be 1 code? So 1 even could be 4, 1, 5. That would work. Or 2, 1, 5, or gosh, even 2, 1, 3. So no, it seems like 1 even wouldn't do it. So would 2 evens give us a distinct answer? 2, 1, 4 would be the only answer. Am I right about that? It can't be 4 and anything for like the triangle cannot be 4 for the circle. And so first of all, okay, sorry, I'm getting a little bit discombobulated. 2 evens. So the 1 and the 3 cannot possibly be even. So if it was 2 evens, both of these would need to be evens. The only even for circle is 4. The triangle cannot equal. Yes, okay. So I think, and we need to have at least exactly 1. I believe that is the code for this. So I'll go and check the solution and tell you. So I got it in 1 round, 3 questions. Let's see how the machine did. Test my code. What did I say? 2, 1, 4, right? Okay, so 2, 1, 4. Yay! Okay, and did you beat the machine? You got to put in your answers. I don't think it really cares which things. It just like cares how many questions you ask. So this probably could be simplified. Did you beat the machine? You beat the machine! Ooh, 2 rounds of 6 questions. Get out of here. Unfortunately, I'm terrible at the harder ones, but the easy ones I tend to do pretty well with. So I beat the machine. That was kind of the basics of the game. Let's reset, do a hard level 1, and try again. All right, well, that first one went uncharacteristically well, but now I'm playing on hard difficulty with 5 criteria cards. So get ready to watch me like foam like a baby and totally fail against the machine. And there are harder modes you can play where like you don't even know which cards match up with which things. I've been too scared to get into those, but if I do well here, just know the game can go so much more difficult than even this. So we've got 5 criteria this time. Let's see. A few of them are pretty simple. How does the square compare to 3? Less than, equal to, or greater than? Pretty basic. Is a triangle even or odd? Pretty simple. Now, this one happens a lot. It's telling you something about a specific color, but you don't know which one. So one of these is a 4. But so like if I did 444, it would say yes, but I wouldn't know whether it was triangle, square, or circle. So it'll tell me that one of them is a 4, but I don't know which one. This one is also a specific thing. The number of one specific color compared to 1. Is it equal to 1 or greater than 1? So I don't know whether it's triangle, square, or circle, and I don't know whether it's equal or greater than, but it's going to tell me one of those. And then this one, this is the worst, one specific color compared to another specific color. So is triangle less than equal to or greater than square, or less than equal or greater than circle, or yeah, so it's all the possibilities, 9 possibilities there. And again, I don't know which one it is. It knows that it's only talking about, I don't know, triangle and circle, for example, but I have no idea. I have to deduce that by just, I don't know, being smart or just brute forcing my way through. But like last time, let's try to deduce some things. So here's a pretty easy one. If triangle is even or odd, this card can't be redundant, which means that triangle cannot possibly be the specific color that is equal to 4. I never need to ask that question, because otherwise, why would this card need to exist if this was telling me that triangle is already 4? So that one's definitely not triangle. Now, this one almost eliminates the need for that card too, because if it's equal to 3, then clearly it's not also equal to 4. So, I mean, yeah, it's kind of obvious. If it's greater than 3, I guess it could still be 4 and could be not if it's less. So there's a pretty high likelihood. I mean, I'm just kind of guessing here, but I feel like circle's probably going to be the 4, right? It's probably circle. And then a number being greater than 1 seems to matter less than a number being equal to 1. So I'm going to guess, because it narrows down possibilities more. Remember, we need to come up with a specific number from all of these. I feel like this is telling me something is a 1. Although if it was a 1, I wouldn't need to know about that. And if triangle is a 1, I wouldn't need to know whether it's even or odd. And if square, So, I don't know. Again, I'm not as good at the harder ones. Let's just try this out. I think purple is the 4. Okay, I think purple is the 4. I think it makes the most sense. I don't know if square is even or odd, but either way, it's nice to find out. And I kind of feel like maybe yellow is the 1. Although here's the thing, I don't know which one this is going to be telling me about. So if I say, hey, is this right? And it'll tell me it's right if it's telling me what yellow is, and yellow is 1. Or if it's telling me what triangle or circle are, and they're greater than 1. Although, again, that seems like such an inane thing to tell me that I feel like it's going to be the equal to 1. Okay, but anyway, let's do the 4. Okay, so hopefully this is going to give me back a yes. I'm going to know that circle. Yes, okay, cool. So my deduct, although, why did I have to waste a question to ask that if I already basically knew I was right? Well, I guess I didn't know I was right, but maybe I should have known I was right. Anyway, we know that C is a yes. We know that circle is specifically a 4. So we've knocked down one entire number. I love that. All right, so we've already got some stuff. I can ask 2 more questions. All right, I feel like the even odd thing is going to be important, or they wouldn't have had it in there. Okay, so triangle is even. So I know that it's a 2 or a 4. So I've super limited that one down as well. All right, and then... Geez, do I want to ask about? Okay, so circle is 4, which means this doesn't matter at all for circle, because obviously it's greater than 1. Triangle is even, which means it also cannot be equal to 1. It must be greater than 1, which means this card must be here to tell me, like I thought, something about square. And it seems like the most likely thing is that square is equal to 1. So do I need to waste a question asking? I need to waste a question asking? I mean... Gosh, if square is 1, then literally all I have to figure out is whether but maybe, why would this be here if square was 1? So I know that this can only be telling me about square, but this card exists. So square can't be 1, or this card would not need to be in the game. And this card also can't be telling me square equals 3 if square is greater than 3, or I wouldn't need this to tell me that square is greater than 1, which makes which makes me think that square is 2? But then why would I need this? No, that can't be right. That can't. I mean, yeah, if it was 224, I wouldn't even need this card. I feel like I'm totally wrong on something. But yeah. Well, I guess I don't know. I don't know whether triangle is 2 or 4 yet, right? So like maybe this card is there to determine that. So I'm thinking that square is 2. I'm thinking that square is 2, and that all I need to figure out is whether triangle is 2 or 4. So I think I can still ask this and maybe solve things from there. Okay, let's find out. All right. So I got to check for something. Let me follow my logic here. If I'm right, and this one would return that yellow is less than 3, and this one would return that yellow is greater than 1, which pinpoints yellow to 2. And if I already know circle is 4, and all I'm trying to figure out is whether triangle is 2 or 4, because I know it's even, I would need this card to determine that. And even though these are not, 2 or 4 and 2, like I think this is, I still have this one higher than this one. So if this is saying yes, if this is supposed to be telling me that triangle is greater than square, then it would be 4, 2, 4. What would I get? I got a check mark. Okay. I feel like I must be way off here. Like I feel like I must be just making stuff up. I can't really guess this, can I? Do I really think that it's 2, 4? Should I guess? Oh my gosh, I don't want to be an idiot. Okay, let me just like follow my logic again one more time. Okay, so I know the circle is 4. I know the triangle is even, needs to be 2 and a 4. I think the combo of this card is leading me to square being a 2. Because again, because I don't need this for I don't need this for triangle or circle. If I need it for square, the only way to narrow down the number exactly, besides like a lot of complicated interactions with this, the only reason I would need both these cards is square being 2. And if square is 2 and this returned a yes answer, then the only possibility with triangle being even is 4. 4, 2, 4. You know what? What the heck? We're going to knock this the heck out. We're going to go guess this right now. We're going to see what happens. Jumping over to my computer. Let's go. All right, so here we go. If I get this right, I'm going to be so happy. Okay, what did I say? Yes, oh my god, I'm the master. Okay, what did I have? Check mark. Check mark. Check mark. All right, how much faster? Come on. The machine found it in 3 rounds and 8 questions. I got it in 1 round and 3 questions. Let's go, people. By the way, just to show you kind of what the interface looks like. But yeah, so how it works is you can be here. So you say play, solo co-op. So extreme and nightmare where like you have I forget, it's like extra cards. You don't know like which one matches up with which thing and which one is like a duplicate or something like that. You can say easy, standard, or hard. You can say how many verifiers you want. You just go boom, and then it tells you all the stuff to get. Oh, okay. So this is what that harder mode means. You get 12, double the verifiers. You don't know which one is like the actual right verifier. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with my ability to just beat hard ones and kind of feel smart about myself. Yeah, and then when you think you're right, you test the code, you put it in, and if it's right, you verify it. You can see how fast the machine was. You can share the code and let other people like kind of try it out. And yeah, so that's kind of how the app works. But let's go back to my table, basking in my glory, and give my quick review thoughts on the game. All right, and coming back to the table, let's do a review for this one. And by the way, the reason I'm not doing a full 5 and 5 is because it's a pretty straightforward game. I was really struggling to come up with like 5 different things to talk about. So I thought this might be more appropriate, especially since the players are so quick, to kind of combine the review here. See, if you can't tell from my glee, I'm loving this one, but I really like deduction, like in kind of all its forms. Like I like Sudoku, I like Wordle, I like games like Paint the Roses and those kind of things. So yeah, this is right in my wheelhouse. I cannot guarantee that other people will like this one or not, but let's talk about some of the things I think that are great and some of the things that are a little bit rougher. So first, I just have to give like some credit to the fact that this friggin' works. Like that they can have like I think they said like a million combinations in the app, and how would you even know if you ever got the same one again? And that you just get a few of these cards. There's so many of them, and I don't even know what the heck kind of mathematical, computer-driven like mind created this. But then you can be like, "Meh," and it's right, and it can lead you to the right answer. Right? Just like the engineering of this one blow as a game designer myself. Just I don't even understand how to begin to do any of this, and it's so cool. And also, it's like the tactile experience of putting this together and be like, whoa, I mean, not that an X or a check mark by itself is extremely exciting, but the implications of it, it's really cool. Probably like the closest thing I can think of for impressive like mechanical engineering is Tiwanaka that I covered recently. The one where like you had like the multiple spinning like discs and you would like flip it over and it would tell you like what was there. That game is incredibly clever, and this one kind of reminds me of it. Just so cool that this thing works. It's really neat. Another thing that I love about the game are the multiple levels of deduction, and you saw this in the playthrough if you watch that, because the fact that these questions and these criteria are being asked can tell you so much information. Like I've heard people saying that sometimes the criteria cards, I saw this on BGG, the criteria cards are such that if you really take the time to like work it all out, there is only one correct solution without asking a single question. And that might seem like anticlimactic to some people, like they want to have the act of deduction, and I get that. And if you play on the higher difficulty settings, you're of course going to need to do that, like actually ask questions. But still, I like that first level of just being like, why do I care if it's even or odd? Why does that matter? Ooh, that's going to tell me something about this. Why do I care how it compares to one? Why would that matter? Oh, but that's going to tell me something about that. Why would I care if it's, so just kind of like trying to deduce just why the heck these cards are even in the particular puzzle you're solving is in of itself a great kind of thing to think through. And then on top of that, you got to think about which numbers you want to put in. Which numbers are going to tell you the most information, which combination of numbers, which questions do you want to ask, how many questions do you want to ask? Can asking a question here invalidate the need to ask a question there because the answer here will probably already answer that? When do you want to take a risk and ask a question that is likely to not tell you very much, but if it gives you a specific thing like, ooh, it's probably not exactly a 3, but if it was, that would save me so much time. So, like when do you want to take a chance asking a question that's lower odds, but will cut out more possibilities? When do you want to go for like the even play and just try to like keep on whittling it down by like 50% and that kind of thing? All those choices are really compelling. Although it can be a little bit less compelling, and this is something that I think might not work for some players, especially in the solo co-op mode, is that, in the end, you're just deducing as quickly as you can and then comparing it to like a number that I'm sure they have some way that the machine kind of deduces it, but it seems arbitrary to me. It's like, hey, they got it in 7. I'm like, okay, I got it in 4. Winning. So like the kind of like victory check of whether you beat the machine is cool, but it reminds me of another game like Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective, which does kind of the same thing. Like you solve the mystery and then it's like, hey, how quickly would Sherlock Holmes have solved it? And then you just check and either you're smarter than him or you're not. So it's cool. Like it's better than them not giving me anything. Don't get me wrong. If they were just like, yay, you figured out the number. Who cares how fast you did it? That would be terrible. But at the same time, I don't know like if just seeing the machine number in this arbitrary sense and then comparing your own to it is like fully satisfying. It's going to depend on your taste. Another potential negative I want to mention is that it can be annoying to dig through so many cards and like the app, or the here, I'll show you the rule book. The app or the rulebook will tell you like the combination of the criteria cards and the verification cards that you need to find. And yeah, they're just big decks. And then like you not only do you need to find them, but then you need to put them back. And you need to, if you don't want to make your life terrible next time, you need to order them in the right order. So it's not too big of a hassle, but especially when playing solo, where sometimes the game can take like 5 minutes, this does become like a significant portion of the playtime. Not a deal breaker for me. It's just a kind of part of the thing, but it is something to be aware of that just like kind of finding the correct cards can be a little bit annoying. But back to a positive, I really appreciate the note sheets they give you because they let you do like a whole bunch of things. First of all, you have to check how many questions you did and like what your numbers are. Like that's all necessary. But giving you this over here to narrow down which options are possible, giving you this over here, like not just a space to write what the actual rule is, but to kind of like talk through the notes. It's a simple thing, but I just think like this sheet gives you pretty much all you need to deduce what is necessary to hopefully solve the problems. Now, one other thing I do need to note is that this game calls itself co-op. And by some definitions, it is because you can absolutely sit down together and solve together. And I don't have anything, I'm not like complaining about that because you might know from other coverage I've done. I absolutely love, especially lately, like playing solo only games with my kids. Like we'll take turns in Warp's Edge, or we'll take turns in Resist, or we'll discuss the options in Final Girl and then choose which way we want to go. So I think the games that are like solo only work as co-op, and I don't mind a game that is entirely basing its co-op on cooperative, like kind of discussion between players. But that being said, this adds nothing to co-op besides that. Like all you do when you say you're playing co-op is you talk about it. And if one player figures it all out and the other player has no idea, you have no role, you have no powers, you have no agency outside of like the discussion, whatever form that takes in your particular group. So would I like sell this? Would I recommend this as a co-op game? If your group likes that kind of thing, if you like playing in a just like cooperative discussion environment, then sure, I think it'll be great for you. But certainly this is going to be a solo and competitive game for me mainly, and that's fine. This is not a knock on it, but yeah, if you're like looking at this for a cooperative game like Spirit Island, where you have like real ownership and unique stuff going on just for you, it's not really going to satisfy that. But yeah, this game is blowing me away. Again, I cannot believe the ingenuity in it. Of course, I just won on a hard mode like really well, so clearly I'm the greatest player ever. And that's why my review is so positive. Just kidding. Clearly, if I was playing on like nightmare mode, I would be total trash, and I just got a little bit lucky there. But yeah, I'm really impressed by this one. Definitely a recent favorite deduction game. So many great deduction games coming out recently, like Mind Management with the app, Turing Machine with the app, Paint the Roses. I just love the like cooperative and solo deduction explosion recently. Search for Planet X, that kind of reminds me of this one too. That's another great one. And the other one, the animal-based one that I covered. So yeah, Turing Machine, I think is wonderful. And go check it out if you want to give it a try too. And hey, post your score if you did better or worse than me in these particular challenges. I'm curious to see how you did. I definitely got lucky for mine. But thanks everyone for watching. Good gaming, and I'll see you at the next stop.